Hello, everybody, and welcome to another brand new episode of the Top 10. I am John Roca.
And I am Matt Nost. We are here to bring you another week of fabulous movie discussion.
Fabulous.
And,
Yeah.
today we are covering a topic that we covered once 5 years ago. So it's been a long time since we've actually discussed this, man. But there is a reason for that. And John, I'm going to let you take the floor because something calamitous happened to you.
Well, first, the reason is also West Side Story has come out by the time you guys hear this. And it was one of my favorite films of the year, getting a lot of publicity and buzz from the fellow reviewers as well. But I, for the second time in 2 months or 2.5 months, I was involved in a car accident. As we're recording this yesterday, I was sideswiped by a white pickup truck that decided to turn right randomly at a lane. We were at the lane, what I've heard is called suicide lanes. It's one of those lanes where you can go straight or take a right.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah. So there's also a bike lane, so there's extra space in these lanes. So I pulled up here, it's maybe 2 minutes from my house, pulled up behind a white truck, stopped, looked to the right of the truck. It didn't have his turn signal on. It was closer to the left of the lane there by the white line of the white left line of the right lane. And so I thought, well, he's going straight. I'm going to take a right. So I put on my turn signal, moved around him, moved past him. And just as I was about to get past him to see if there were any cars coming on the left so I could take the right, he took off and absolutely just scarred up the left side of my car and pushed me into the curb, which was a little scary, to be honest with you, to be in the car.
Yeah.
And I was honking and screaming inside the car, and nothing stopped him. He finished the turn and then realized that he had hit a car, pulled over, much to his credit. Then me, after banging the steering wheel like 6 times out of anger, pulled up behind him, got out of the car, and he asked if I was okay twice. I was like, yeah, I think I'm fine, just a little rattled. But dude, you didn't have your turn signal on. And you took a right. How am I supposed to know what you were doing here? I'm going around you because there's plenty of space to go around you.
Yeah, you're indicating you're going straight.
Yes, you're in it because you're not. And he tried to claim that he had his turn signal on, which is a lie, and that his turn signal turned off as he was making the right. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Works.
Yeah, that's not how a turn signal works in any way, shape, or form. You can turn the wheel hard to the right and then have it whip back, and then the certain signal
then it disengages.
Off. Right, exactly.
After you've completed the turn.
Right, but not while you're making the turn.
No.
And he did not have his tail light signal on at all, because I stopped to make sure he did, because I've done that a million times in a million cities with those lanes where you see if there's enough space for you to get past, you go around that person because they're going straight. I think what it was is he's in a pickup truck and he did not check his mirrors or check where he was going, and he just took off. And he probably was distracted or maybe on the phone or whatever. And so I was pretty rattled. And now he's claiming that he did have his turn signal on. And
let the lawyers.
Yeah, it's going to be a contentious battle, but it's frustrating because I've got to pay $500 deductible to get the car even remotely in the process of being fixed, and get a rental and all of that. And then at some point, State Farm is going to, take all the pictures I've sent and the videos I've sent in my statement and go and try to get the $500 back. But they said to me, since it's a lane that you can go straight or go right in, there's a possibility that we might have to share responsibility here. And I'm like, this is nonsense, man. I mean, he didn't have his turn signal on, so.
Yeah.
So it's just a frustrating situation.
People might ask what that has to do with today's topic. We were banding about ideas.
Yes.
Spielberg was one of them. And then between that and this weekend's festivities and just the hecticness, we both were like, you know what? Let's just do the easy one. Yes, we've done it before. It's been 5 years or so.
Right.
But we're just like, fuck it. I don't want to spend the time to just sit here and think, because we weren't coming up with anything better. That was the other frustrating part, which is usually isn't a problem for us.
That's true. It usually isn't. Yeah.
Once accident came into the picture, it's just like, you know what? Let's just do let's de-stress one aspect of your life and let's do something simple. because I know I would appreciate that if roles
Yeah.
were reversed.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. So,
Yeah. Just let's do something easy. Just go right down his IMDb. You already know, you've seen them all.
Yeah.
So this is an easy one. Nothing you have to stress about, because you're gonna have to deal with insurance companies and some assholes now changing his story.
Oh God, it's just crazy, So yeah, I've got to go out there and take pictures of cars that are both going straight and turning right next to each other in the same lane to prove that there is space, that two cars do, the cars do that. So I'm going to wait till a little bit later on when there's more traffic going on, and I'm going to walk out there or drive up there and just start taking pictures while I'm standing there the whole time. So that's annoying, but you got to do it so that, they kind of understand what you're trying to say. So, yeah.
Yeah. But whether or not that actually translates into anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who the hell knows?
Right. Because right now I'm out $500 in a couple of days, so, which is really frustrating.
Yeah. I got in an accident like 5 years ago, and I've been in 2 ever.
Right.
That were my fault. And the one previously, it was my fault. I was hydroplaning, but technically, not even technically, it was my fault because it was my car.
Right.
And in this one, it was a weird gray area, but by letter of the law, the fault was mine.
Oh, man.
Yeah, just like, what are you going to do? And I wasn't going to fight him and be like, I understand what you're saying. And it's an uphill battle to say that it isn't the case, but it doesn't matter. Ultimately, it's letter of the law is I'm at fault.
Right.
What are you going to do? But taking the pictures and all that, I had to do that for that one. And it just, you got to do it, but it served no real purpose for me, at least.
Exactly.
I got a fucking parking ticket once that I took pictures. This is the only time I thought taking pictures would actually help, because they spray painted the curb while my car was sitting there, and suddenly it became red.
No way.
Yeah. So the reason I know that is because was it red before? There were leaves in the gutter and whatnot. So some of the leaves were red, but there was one that had been spray painted down onto the curb, and I pulled it off, and the curb was gray underneath. So I took pictures, and it's like, how can you give me a ticket for something that did not exist until I was parked there? Here's my car. Here are pictures of the leaves being spray painted. Here's me pulling off. Like, I took 50 pictures and I sent it in, and the response I got was, the curb is red. And I'm like, you. So when they told me to take pictures for the accident, I was like, this isn't going to do anything. I've done the pictures thing once before. It was pointless. But yeah, that one, they painted the curb while I was parked there.
That's insane. That's insane.
I mean, maybe it was red before, but it wasn't when I parked there, and it wasn't underneath that leaf, but perhaps years ago it was. I don't fucking know.
Yeah. That happens because the red kind of by weather or erosion or whatever.
But you can tell.
But you can tell. Yes, you're
right. You
right.
can tell. It's a light red, but you can still fucking tell.
It's got a hue.
It's got a hue. It doesn't look like concrete. Exactly. And the fact that this one leaf had been spray painted over, you pull the leaf off, and underneath it was still fucking gray.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are assholes.
But So we're gonna jump into the top 10 Steven Spielberg movies. And I got a chance to see West Side Story. I all I can tell you, because I did do a review for it on my channel by the time people see this. All I can tell you is that I was wrong about doubting him making a remake. It's a phenomenal movie. It's a fantastic remake. And no one was more surprised than me sitting in the theater and finding myself really enjoying the movie. So that's what I'll say overall. So it felt like he's gone back to like the hungry Spielberg, and you could feel it all over that movie. So I hope we enter this kind of interesting new stage in Spielberg's career where he kind of takes a little more chances and maybe dials back into that hungry young kid who was making some incredible movies back then. And we get some final movies from him before he passes on that'll augment his legacy even more,
perhaps. I mean, I agree. It's definitely worth the watch.
Yeah.
So you should go check it out in theaters if you have any kind of interest, or if you're a Spielberg completist, should go see it. Yeah. It's not hard though. You already seen most of Spielberg's,
Yeah, that's true.
So just like it's another notch on a belt that's full of notches. So how much of a difference, just do yourself a favor.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So, should we get into it, or do you want to talk about anything else? Anything else going on in your life? What's going on with you?
That's an open-ended, broad question. Huh? How are things? What's up?
We've been focusing on me too much. Let's. What do you got going
You got
on?
into an accident.
Yeah.
That's pretty huge. I remember it was like 4 or 5 months ago. I don't know if you've ever been over where there's a roundabout next to the 5 where the 5 meets the 110, but on the surface streets there's a roundabout just underneath that interchange. There's a Home Depot over there, and if you've ever been in that area, anyway.
Yeah.
So I was on the roundabout. It was like 3-4 months ago, and this had to be an abuela, had to be. pulls out right in front of me, and I'm going around the thing.
Yeah.
And the best part is she's looking at me petrified the whole time. Like almost I realize I'm making a mistake and I can't stop myself. And the look of terror on her face, you go from, oh my God, what are you doing? You're such an idiot. To I felt bad for her. I was like, of course. It's okay. Yeah. It's okay. I slammed on the brakes. Yeah.
She doesn't know. Yeah.
She doesn't know. And just like, just get to your destination safe, ma'am.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Because one day that's going to be us. One day that's going to be us, But
you just, the look of terror on her face of, what am I doing? Oh my God, this is stupid. Just like if I wasn't paying attention as well, I easily could have just T-boned you. She wasn't even close, but I just remember distinctly the look on her face, just pure fright and terror.
Just utter terror.
Yeah. Sadly, at her age, it easily could have taken like 3 days or 4 days off her life.
Yeah, absolutely.
I felt so bad, but yeah. I'm assuming she's an abuela. She looked like an abuela. I don't know. But anyway.
Oh, if I can recommend to some, I know we're on our own podcast, but I got to recommend to anybody, if you haven't listened to Kenneth Branagh on Mark Maron, I got to tell you, do yourselves a favor and listen to that episode. It was, I haven't listened to Mark Maron much over the last few months. I've been just kind of busy with so many things. But I just had a little bit of time to drive around, and I thought I'd put it on. And what a great conversation he had with Kenneth Branagh. So if you liked Belfast, if you like Branagh at all, or if you're a Shakespeare person at all, he gets into so many things. And look, he's a hard scrabble guy who came from like a poor background in Belfast. So hearing him talk about his process, as people are like, oh, he's a highfalutin Shakespeare guy. No, man, he's a nuts and bolts dude, man. So,
that isn't us projecting onto him. That's what he's put out into the world for all we've ever known. All I've ever known about Kenneth Branagh is Pinky Out. He to me is the epitome of Pinky Out.
What? How can you say that?
Because everything is Shakespeare. He thinks basically he is the artist. He's always exuded this air of posh.
Plus, he's an intelligent guy trying to prove his intelligence all the time.
I'm not saying he's not intelligent, but he is to me the embodiment of English posh when it comes to actors.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So he may be from a hard scrabble background.
Yeah.
But I don't think that is us projecting onto him. That is what he has put out into the world for 3.5 decades.
All right. I'll have to
come
set
on.
that aside. I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I kind of felt maybe a little bit of that was there. And I think that's what is so fascinating about the interview is that he kind of debunks that, or spends some of that time with Maron debunking it, because Maron said the same thing. Like you gave off this air like you were this blah, 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 blah. But to find out that, you were a guy from a poor neighborhood who had to fight and claw and scratch and to get to where you were in the world of Shakespeare and the world of English theater. And Branagh talks more about that. So I just thought it was a fascinating interview. So I want to recommend it to anybody who wants to listen to it. And the Bill Pullman interview was great as well. So,
and Maron needs the help, so good for you getting out there. Times have been tough for him. So let's plug. Do you want to plug Bill Simmons? Guys, if you haven't heard of this guy,
I'll plug the low post.
I know you will too. Amazing numbers anyway. It's like us plugging some of the biggest. Bill Burr's Monday Morning. What else you got? Have you heard of this Rogan experience? This guy's got some interesting theories.
Oh, the Rogan experience. Oh Lord. Anyway, all right. Well, let's get into the list then. Let's enough of the kibitz. My Wizards are in second place. I can't believe it. We're still doing it. I watched the Wolves game last night. That Suns game was great, man. Holy crapola.
Friday, the rubber match comes again.
Until the Warriors fell apart at the end, that game was fantastic, man.
And technically, you're tied for second place.
Just
so you know.
With the Bucks? Yeah, with the Bucks. Oh,
and the Bulls.
The Bulls are down there somewhere. That's right.
Oh, down there. We have the exact same record.
Well,
and if you look at our strength of schedule versus yours, you've had a slightly easier schedule thus far. So congratulations.
According to what I have here in front of me, the Wizards are ranked higher.
What is this?
Bucks.
JohnRoccoWizards.com. No, where are you looking at this?
No, look at
this one says our team is the most handsome.
I think because we have a better home record.
I would imagine any kind of head-to-head or divisional.
Yeah, division. We're 9-6. You guys are 8-5 in divisional. So I don't know, but yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. It'll all even itself out in the wash. Who cares?
It's true. The Bucks are on an 8-game run, man. That's scary as hell, dude.
Jesus
Christ.
Yep. And they're not even at full strength.
Yeah. The Suns, Jesus. The Suns. Now, I thought the Suns were going to take a step back this year, possibly. They look like they want to go and win that whole fucking thing, man. Jesus. All right. Anyway, so we're going to get into Steven Spielberg countdown. You know what? Fuck it. I'll go first this time. The way it starts is that Matt and I select a topic. We go off on our own.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of create our lists, then come back here without telling each other our lists, and we count down the first three, the 10, 9, and 8. I'll go first this time. Then Matt does his 10, 9, and 8. Then I do my 7 and 6. He does his 7 and 6. Then we'll take a little bit of a break, and then we go one by one through the top fives. And then at the end, we combine our lists over flipped coins and angry diatribes and occasional gentlemanly behavior to come up with the overall top 10 list here from the top 10 show. So, Matt, if you don't mind, I'll just go ahead and start on my list. Let's mess around with the order.
Jump right in.
Minority Report at number 10. Does that make your list?
I mean, of course, it made my list.
Okay.
It is not a punt. I have it at number 8.
Number 8. Yeah, Minority Report. This is Steven Spielberg doing some sci-fi stuff here with Colin Farrell and Tom Cruise and Samantha Morton and Max von Sydow. And apparently Tim Blake Nelson and Peter Stormare.
Yeah. In two very small roles, but excellent roles.
But a fascinating story. He rarely goes into hardcore sci-fi, right? He'll do E.T. or stuff like that. But hardcore sci-fi, he rarely does.
AI taking over for War of the Worlds.
I think War of the Worlds is kind of connective to Minority Report. AI is like, I don't know. AI seems like something else completely. But yeah, I know there's sci-fi elements to it, but it's Pinocchio story, man. So yeah. Well, yeah. What's your thoughts on Minority Report, man?
Well, Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Right. It's been a bit. When Minority Report came out, it had been a bit. So.
Yeah, it's interesting the amount of future tech that I remember seeing, like behind the scenes and vignettes and whatnot of Spielberg sitting down with various people, futurists, saying, "Here's where we think the world is going to end up if current trajectories and trends continue."
Yeah.
And the targeting ad where it scans your iris and then suddenly you're getting specific ads to you. That's a very real possibility. Self-driving cars. Yeah. We're not too far from that.
Yeah.
And so it's all the little things on the periphery on top of this really good story. But I think that helps on the rewatch is it makes it feel even realer. Now you're talking about the precognition. So there is that kind of, I guess you would say fantasy element to it because I don't know of anybody that has precognition. I guess it's hypothetically possible. Anything is hypothetically possible.
Yeah.
Is it real? No, I've never seen it.
No. Dionne Warwick. She's got that psychiatry network.
Yeah, but you got to pay for that. This shit was free. You know what I mean? These people.
That's true. That's true.
Plus, was Dionne in a bath of milk, just looking up at the ceiling? And then,
I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know what she was.
But she wasn't actually doing it, wasn't she? She was just the face of. I mean, basically, it was like the George Foreman grill for psychics. Shaq has his competing version of that grill.
Of the George Foreman girl?
George Foreman. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, Shaq does everything, man.
he does everything. Well, in reality, they slap his name on everything.
Yeah, it's true. It's
Yeah,
true.
but he'll
Why not?
shill for anything. Yeah,
He'll
I
do a
guess. Why not?
general. He'll do the printer ink fluid, which is like, what? Why are you doing printer ink stuff? So,
The icy hot
oh yeah, the
pad
icy hot.
things.
That's right.
I do love the story about his shoes and why they're so cheap. It's because like a mom came up to him afterwards and like, I can't afford your $150 sneakers for my kid.
Oh wow.
So he decided to partner with a cheaper shoe brand, and that way he could get potentially stylish shoes that kids would like
Yeah.
at the cheapest price point, so they didn't have to feel ostracized for not wearing Jordans. They
And you
could
could wear,
Shaqs.
and you could sell more.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, you could
Arguably,
hypothetically.
right? Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
makes sense. It's kind of smart. Jordan been like, oh well.
exactly. How many of those kids are Republicans? It's unfortunate, but it's potentially the case. Anyway, neither here nor there.
And the film still holds up, dude. I think it's what
It really
2000
does. I wish him and Cruz would collabo more.
Oh yeah, dude, you're absolutely right. There's a crap ton of directors he's collaborated with that you wish he'd go back and do it and collaborate with them again for sure.
I mean, you had this plus War of the Worlds.
Yeah, right. That's right.
But this was such an interesting kind of nice hodgepodge. Plus, the other thing I love about it is the cinematography choice of that like haziness.
Yeah.
Which fits into the vibe of the precognition. It's a hazy, we're like fairly certain this is going to happen.
Right.
But it's not a stark contrast of black and white.
Yeah.
And they only show the black and white when they show previous or the precogs versions, but those are gray. Actually, they aren't black and white. They're gray.
Right.
Which is what their reality is. This is what could be and most likely will be, but it's not, certain.
Yeah. Well, Janusz Kaminski does the cinematography, and he's so good at doing that. And he did the cinematography for West Side Story. It's incredible. So no surprise, that he's able to find that kind of interesting look to the film. Because when he works with Kaminski finds an interesting hue to a film overall, and certainly that's there throughout. And the twist and the works, the surprise twist at the end totally works. And Max von Sydow is a great villain, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
And, Samantha Morton, one of those actresses that pops up every once in a while and stuff. She works consistently, but more across the pond and in smaller independent films, but a great actress. So,
she got a push here for a couple of years.
She did. You're right. She did.
There was that, was it In America?
Yes.
There was
America.
like the Oscar buzz one.
Yeah, the Irish one. That's right.
Yeah. She had a couple where she's like, all right, she's, a new fresh face, I guess is the way you would kind of potentially say it.
Yeah.
Blew up for a few years here. And then I guess, who knows, worked on other projects or.
She was on The Walking Dead.
What seasons?
The 2019-2020 season. So
okay,
not this year, but last year. Tail end of last year. So
you still watching that?
No, but just kind of looking at her filmography here, wondering where I would have seen her last. Yeah, Fantastic Beasts. Yeah, she had a small part in Fantastic Beasts. I remember that. But yeah, I don't recognize any of these other films. Maybe Cosmopolis, which I think was the Pattinson film. And then The Messenger. Oh, and then John Carter. Right, she was in John Carter. So, yeah. But you're right. Yeah, In America, that was 2002. That was Minority Report.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. So, right around the same age. Then she was in that Elizabeth sequel later on.
Oh,
yeah.
Golden Age?
Yeah, Golden Age. Yeah, she plays Mary Stuart. Isn't that Bloody Mary or Queen of Scots? Is that Mary Queen of Scots? I always forget who Mary Stuart is.
That I don't know.
You're the historian.
Yeah, but I also history encompasses all of human time, so it's not like you could fucking know everything about everything. So no,
you're trying to get out of this a little bit.
It's not. How dare you? How dare you? You want to ask me about Roman or Greek or Macedonian or Babylonian?
I can't say I don't know Lincoln, and then you go, what? You don't know Lincoln? I go, well, time is so huge. It's hard for me to know everybody. I mean, I just seems odd.
What do you mean you don't know Lincoln? When did you say you don't know?
No, I'm saying Mary Queen of Scots, I think, is a very well-known name in the
No,
world.
it is a well-known name. I don't
Okay.
know if that's what that character is.
Yeah, that's what she is. Yeah, that's what she is.
Because I only know Mary Queen of Scots. I literally, unless I read it in context, I would not know her last name.
Yeah.
I just know the title of Mary Queen of Scots.
Right.
So
there you go.
I'm sorry. That's the best, the best I can do.
Oh, good stuff. All right.
I know a little bit the Battle of Hastings, 1066. I know some
Ooh.
of that stuff.
Yeah, the Normans.
Some of the War of the Roses stuff.
Right on, right on.
But English history has never really intrigued me as much as like ancient,
right,
Roman, Greek, Babylonian, Macedonian, Egyptian.
No.
Those I find more interesting.
That's enough. Now who's being the highfalutin Kenneth Branagh of this podcast? Jesus.
What, that I like Egyptian history? I don't know Mary Queen of Scots. But let me tell you about Ramesses II.
Ramesses. Coming up with the History Channel. Ramses II.
Was he an alien? I don't know.
Let's move on. All right, my number 9, and I know people are going to get mad at me for this, but it's my number 9, Jurassic Park. It's just...
it's a punt.
Yeah, all right, fine. And then my number 8 is Catch Me If You Can.
That is my number 9.
Wow, all right, let's talk about
it. You know what I was thinking about when I was putting together this list when it comes to Catch Me If You Can?
Yeah.
Of all the random jobs that we saw DiCaprio's character get into, he was the jump seat of a cockpit and pretended to be a doctor and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Which do you think he felt most confident bullshitting? And which do you think he was like, I hope no one asked me a single question?
Oh, I think the pilot thing was the most confident bullshitting, and the doctor thing was the single. I hope no one asks me a single question.
What other jobs did he have in it? Because those two, and then he was a forger.
Yes. Let's see, Catch Me If You Can jobs.
That's what I'm putting in.
He was a doctor, lawyer, pilot. Those are the ones that he was overall.
See, I got to think lawyer would be, Your Honor. Just being loud into my objection. Just say that a bunch, and eventually you might get it. On what grounds? This dude is an asshole. That's why I object. I feel like you could bullshit your way. Whereas doctor, you screw up. Although he does do a lot of "Do you concur?" Like just asking
which
the
I think is
room.
Hilarious. Yeah.
And then what other? It was Abagnale. What is his name?
Yeah, Frank Abagnale. Yeah.
Okay. Like I wonder what other jobs. I'm gonna look it up. See.
I'm looking up right now. The synopsis. He impersonated a doctor. And he was a member of he was an airline pilot with Pan Am, and he forges those payroll checks. He becomes a lawyer and takes the bar exam after he convinces Martin Sheen, Amy Adams' dad, to help him get in there. And then, Pan Am recruits 8 stewardesses. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Lawyer, pilot, and doctor in the film. That's pretty much it. So there you go. No, but that scene when he shows up to see his mom, like with her new family. Oh, dude, devastating scene through the window at Christmas and stuff.
Searching for a new identity because he never really liked who he is.
Yeah.
And the phone call with Tom Hanks is singularly could be the best scene in the movie.
Yeah.
When Tom was like, you don't have anybody else, do you? They both don't have anybody else. They just have this chase between the two of them. But it's just like Tom realizing he's just as big a loser as he is.
Yeah. In different ways.
Yeah. They're the same type of loser.
And also the scene in the airport where he's like, where are you going? Where are you running off to? There's nowhere for you to go.
You got nothing.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, exactly. What a harsh reality for him to kind of have to come to terms with,
You can keep running, but that just means you're going to continue to run. At some point, you're either going to have to stop or die.
Yeah.
Those are your two options. Although I guess you could flee the country, but then you got to get out of the country. And what passport are you going to use? Although at that point, it'd been much easier to forge one.
Oh, true.
You just don't have the digital records, and it's much harder, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
To pass off a fake passport. But what do I know? I don't know.
Yeah.
Got to be forgeries floating around. Where there's a will, there's a way. I just don't know. Would you have to then put the corresponding files into a database somewhere so that way when they run the check, it comes up as the picture and name?
Oh yeah, that's possible. That makes sense.
But it's just like, wow, now the layers of this, whereas before, just like I could take a picture against a white backdrop, and then in movies, it's like them with a X-Acto knife, and they're like cutting out a real passport's picture and then sliding in underneath the cellophane, the new one, and whatever else. Just like that shit isn't flying anymore with all the security tags and stuff on. And the watermarks. But anyway, really fun, movie.
Agreed.
And to see, it's kind of like a passing of the torch. It's when Leo just started working with the best of the best.
Right.
It's like, Hanks, this is the type of individual I normally work with. You're the next young up and coming. Here you go. And now Leo's continued to work with those types of individuals ever since then.
Yeah, it's true. Very true. Yeah. All right. So what's left on your back, and what's your 10?
So my 10, I had technically left blank, and then when you were like, all right, I'm going to go first, I had trouble because there's a lot of deserving candidates. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to pick the newest because of the options.
Okay.
Just because why not? Because we haven't talked about it.
Yeah.
Which is Ready Player One.
Go ahead.
I think on the list, the reason I'm mainly putting on is it's got a couple scenes that I find to be absolute magic.
Yeah.
When the main character figures out that he needs to go backwards, go in reverse.
Oh yeah.
That secret track underneath when he's in the DeLorean, but he's going underneath. And the fact that Kong is above wreaking havoc, but keeps looking down and realizes that he's finally going to lose in this endeavor. But that entire scene to me is pure, unadulterated magic.
Yeah.
I love a good treasure hunt in a movie about treasure hunt. Spielberg does quite a few of those.
Yeah, he does.
So that scene, I like The Shining, going back to that.
Oh yeah, right. That's right.
And the recreation of it looks just like it. It is amazing. They went and recreated digitally. It's a beautiful love letter to that movie in the middle of a kid's film.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a horror film that you've never seen. So for those moments, and Mendelsohn, always a great asshole.
Yes, absolutely.
One of the best. And a decent number of the pop culture references I thoroughly enjoyed, especially where they were like in the background periphery.
Yeah.
Using the Iron Giant as a weapon doesn't really make sense considering it's the Iron Giant.
Yeah.
But other aspects of it, I was like, oh, that's cool. Like in the background, oh, hey, there were certain moments where it's just like, boy, you were overstuffing.
Yeah.
It almost seems like a reference for a reference sake. Whereas in the background type of stuff, that I'm in on.
Yeah.
But it had a number of scenes where I have gone back to rewatch that specific car race scene numerous times. I think that scene is pure magic for me.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you. There are some really great moments in that movie. I understand people feeling like, oh, it's just reference. I totally get that. But, sometimes I just kind of enjoy a film and roll with it, whatever it's showing to me. And I enjoyed that with Ready Player One. I thought Ty Sheridan did a nice job as the lead in that film. And was it Olivia Cooke who plays the other character there who he kind of starts to kind of a relationship with, so to speak, online and then in person, and all that he discovers there. So I like the film. It's very well shot. And like I said, Mendelsohn, a great villain. Mark Rylance, an interesting kind of background hero type person as the creator of the Oasis. So all of that really worked well for me. And like I said, inventive sequences. The Shining stuff was brilliant. It's different in the book. The Shining stuff is not in the book, so they kind of did that for the film. It was Spielberg's homage to Kubrick, so it was great to see that be a part of it as well. So yeah, there's a lot of inventiveness in the movie. I know some people kind of ding it, but I thought it was great. And the final battle, all those different characters coming in from the different franchises to battle each other, that was done way better than anything you saw in Space Jam: A New Legacy. So to me, I think it works really well in here, where it didn't really work that well.
And the rallying cry of, basically, if you like the Oasis as is, are you willing to die for it? Have your character reset,
exactly,
type of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, there are parts that personally, it's just like I will skip past.
Yeah.
And that's why I was hesitant to put it on the list. But we never, I don't know that it's come up since the movie has come out, or maybe it's come up once.
Yeah. Yeah.
So might as well throw it on, talk
Yeah.
about it. There
Why
you
not? It's fun. Yeah. All right. What's your 9? Do you want to talk about your 9?
Yeah, we did my my 9 and my 8, which were
Okay.
Catch Me If
All
You
right.
Can and Minority Report. So what do you got at 7?
Saving Private Ryan. That's my 7.
That's fine. It's a punt.
Okay. All right.
It's
My
amazing
6.
you served. You know what I mean?
You know what? Listen
With
here,
your-
pal. Listen here, pal.
With your communist tendencies.
Oh my God.
I feel as though, you know,
Oh,
that you
Lord.
wish that movie was focused on the Red Army. Go watch Stalingrad.
What? What?
A good movie, but, you know.
There's what is Stalingrad? I've never seen that movie.
Oh, you never seen Stalingrad?
No, what is that? Stalingrad.
It's a movie about Stalingrad, the
Oh.
Battle of Stalingrad. Ask me about that. Don't ask me about Mary Queen of Scots. World War II, I know.
A little on the nose. Stalingrad, it's a little on the nose. Anyway, yeah. So then my number 7 is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. That's my
Oh, you mean your 6?
Oh, 6. Sorry, my 6. Sorry, my 6.
Yeah, I feel like you did that intentionally. That's a punt.
All right, fine. What's your 7?
You did. Look at that face. That face, that was an
No,
intentional.
I was really surprised that it ended up where it ended up. Go ahead.
Okay. Fair enough. 7 for me is Schindler's List.
Oh my God, that's a punt. Yeah, go ahead.
That's fine. I figured it might be. 6 is Jurassic Park. So the punt from you from earlier.
Oh, okay. All right. You want to talk about it?
Let us talk about it.
Okay.
It's easily the best of the series.
Sure.
Not even close.
Undoubtedly.
It still holds up. I watched it at some point over the past year and a half in quarantine. I watched it again.
Mm-hmm.
And it has that type of magic. Like the CGI on the dinosaurs is still as good.
Yeah.
Today. That is utterly amazing in the mix of like the real world T-Rex that they use as opposed to sometimes they have to use the CGI.
Right.
But the blend of the practical with the CGI in those moments, and then the CGI, like the first time they see the brontosauruses or apatosauruses or whatever they are.
Yeah.
And Laura Dern has to grab Sam Neill's head and like have him turn.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you're missing a dinosaur, asshole.
Yeah.
It looks legitimately just as amazing. Or the herd of them running through, and it's Sam Neill and the 2 kids. It's incredible that the amount of work that was put in then is just as good today. Actually, I have seen movies in the past 5 years that have shittier CGI.
Oh yeah.
Than that film.
With higher budgets.
Yeah, with higher budgets.
Yeah.
Although I wonder if adjusted for inflation, it might be like roughly equivalent.
Maybe.
But it's crazy. Yeah, you see a film now and just like, man, the CGI on that is jarringly bad.
Well, there's a reason they're bringing them all back for this latest installment, because they're like, we can't capture the magic of the first one. We can't seem to capture the magic of the first one. So let's bring back the leads of the first one to have them be a part of this third installment in the most recent trilogy in this Jurassic franchise. And every film can't quite capture it. They just can't. It doesn't have the same magic. There's a real honesty in Laura Dern's performance and Sam Neill's performance. There are fun moments with Samuel L. Jackson and Wayne Knight. And the whole like Jello. There hasn't been a Jello moment since the lawyer getting eaten, the raptors, and the way they were fighting them off in the kitchen and whatever. There was great tension and fear, and I feel like the film is just the franchise has just spent every single film trying to recapture that and being unable to, and getting worse, in my opinion, as they go along, installment per installment. I can defend 2 and 3.
Yeah.
I can't defend Jurassic World or Jurassic World Dominion. I think they're getting worse. And I wonder what this latest installment is going to be. I mean, they released the first 5 minutes of the latest installment, which was great because you saw the dinosaurs, but the dinosaurs weren't the issue with these movies. It's the story and the characters and some of the acting.
Yeah, I forgot the last one was Jurassic World Dominion. That was the title.
Oof.
I hated it coming out of the theater.
Oh,
hated it.
It's terrible.
It is beyond terrible. And then the one before that was, there were so many like, why is this character doing this? Why is she suddenly crying now when previously like she created this monster and whatever, could give two shits, but now that it potentially could affect her nephews, she cares?
Right.
Why does her assistant die when her assistant has done nothing and the assistant is killed?
Yeah.
Just like as a weird anti-save the cat moment.
Yeah.
It's been a dwindling returns on each passing iteration.
Yeah.
I hope they come to some semblance of the first one, because it has, you say the Jello, there's also the water in the cup, like those little things.
Yeah.
Was this the one where the raptor is frozen as they're scanning over and they think it's not a raptor, and then you know what I mean? It's like,
oh yeah,
part of the visual background, and all of a sudden, like, that's a great scare.
Yeah.
It's fine for all ages, but it's, if they are that intelligent, for them to freeze and assume we might scan right past them, like, oh my God, that's really smart. That's scary smart.
Yeah, there was a magic. And you know, when they were showing them running across the fields and the places like that, it was cool, you know, and those are beautiful areas. I was lucky enough to go down for that Jumanji press junket, and they took us out to those areas and kind of showed us around those areas, because they shot Jumanji on the same sets, or the same locations rather, that they shot the first Jurassic Park movie. So it was awesome to see some of those mountains and grassy fields and all of that. We got to get on ATVs and kind of ride out to where we saw that sequence in the movie where they're being chased by those kind of running ostrich type dinosaurs, and they have to kind of hide under the broken tree or the stump of the whole long nature of the tree there to escape them. It was great to be out there and see that. So, you know, there's such magic in the first one. But for me, the reason it's lower on my list is I don't feel the desire to watch it a lot. And I think that matters to me when I'm looking at the films, you know, so that's why I put it down lower, in my opinion.
That's why Schindler's List is lower. It's like, it's an excellent movie.
That's fair.
But I'll watch the others before I get to Schindler, even though Schindler's is amazing.
Yeah. Agreed. All right. Was that your 6 or your 7?
That was my number 6.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Matt, why don't we take a quick break hear from our sponsors, and then we will come back. We'll jump into our top 5s of the Steven Spielberg movies. We'll be right back after this. Okay, we're back. We're jumping into our top 5s. I guess I go first this time around. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That's my number 5.
All you, go for it.
Oh my God, it's not even on your list?
Not even on my list.
Wow. Yeah, really great movie that I got to fall back in love with doing it for the Cinephiles. I hadn't watched it in years. I mean, years I hadn't watched it. And then breaking it down scene by scene, jumping into some of the character motivations, hearing some of the background information on what was involved with making this movie, made me kind of reappreciate the performance we get from Richard Dreyfuss, the singular mindedness of him. And you can argue if he's a good dad or a shitty dad or not for succumbing to this desire, but then you realize there's something real deep and primal working here that is motivating him to do the things that he's doing. Some of the topical stuff with the government is really interesting to look at now. It's still going on in 2021. Terry Garr is kind of an interesting part of this as well. And then, oh God, what's the actress's name who plays his friend who has the child who's taken? That whole sequence when the child is taken is really incredible to watch. And then of course that ending with the do so brilliant. So yeah, for me, it's just one of my favorites, man. Yeah.
I haven't seen it in so long, I can't give you an honest opinion of it.
Wow. Okay.
I saw it when I was a kid. I've gone back to watch the ending.
Sure. It's a great ending.
It is. But the movie as a whole, I have not sat down to watch it, I think, since the early 80s. So,
okay.
Couldn't give you my honest assessment of it. I remember enjoying it. But all these others, I happily will go, I have rewatched or will rewatch. And Close Encounters is just, you know, when someone's filmography is like this, unless I'm very specifically in the mood for that movie, sometimes I'm just like, I feel like watching a Spielberg, and I'll just pick a Spielberg.
Yeah.
So yeah, Close Encounters. I'm glad it made your list.
All right, fair enough.
We never really get to talk about it, so
we don't. All right, what's your 5?
My 5 is Lincoln.
Have at it.
Yeah, a much superior movie that it's about one of the indelible historical figures.
Who's that? Who's Lincoln?
Who
There's a wide array of time, man. I can't be
really? Well,
expected to know all these people's names.
he's Abraham, King of Patriots. Do you know him at this point?
Oh, King of Patriots. No, doesn't ring a bell. King of
Doesn't
Patriots
ring a bell?
does not ring a bell.
The Stovepipe Madman. You know, that was his wrestling name. You know, he was a professional. I guess would you call him a professional wrestler?
I could see that. I could see Lincoln.
But in his younger days, he wrestled.
7 years ago, I'm gonna whoop that ass.
That's right. Top turnbuckle Abe is what they called him. Anyway,
oof.
It's one of those of how do you bring to life somebody here in the States is kind of a larger than life figure.
Yeah.
I don't know a single person that if they give any kind of, if they give two shits about the presidency and whatnot, don't consider Lincoln to be an inspirational figure.
Yeah, true.
Anytime if you care at all and they ask who's your favorite president, I think there's what would you say, like a 75% chance people's default answer is going to be Abraham Lincoln?
It's going to be Lincoln or Washington or Teddy Roosevelt or FDR.
Yeah, FDR or potentially Reagan.
Yeah.
For another generation.
A lot of people like Reagan. Clinton, Kennedy.
Kennedy for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know about Clinton.
Oh, no, there's a lot. If there's dude, and I have to say this, Trump, I'm sure there are plenty of people in our country who think he's their favorite president.
There's been enough time to where, like the Washingtons, going back for those and be like, we have enough information on them. So now, anyway, whereas the Clintons, the Trumps, and whatnot, they're still around.
Yeah,
so it's hard to make a full assessment. I mean, I think you and I have made our assessments.
We
but whatever.
Have as well. We have, yeah.
Whatever. But to watch Daniel Day-Lewis bring to life a guy that I've read biographies on, read books about, the tumultuous times in which he lived, the Civil War. Yeah. I've read books on tactics used in the Civil War. That's how many fucking books on the Civil War that I've read.
Yeah.
But to see him bring him to life, to me now, it's one of those of, it's done.
Yeah. Exactly.
We don't need to do this again. I could watch him. Who plays his Secretary of Defense? Where he's like, I can't take it. Another story. And I remember in the theater going,
is it David Strathern? I don't remember.
No, it's not Strathern. Strathern might be his. No, it's a heavyset guy. Oh God, working religiously for 40 years.
Okay.
Strathern does play plays his Secretary of State.
Okay.
This guy is his Secretary of Defense.
It's not Kevin Dunn. Is it Bruce McGill, the guy who
Bruce
plays?
McGill.
Yeah,
oh.
Okay.
Thank you. And he gets flustered because they're waiting for the bombing reports.
Right.
And he's like, I can't take it. Another one of these stinking stories. Like, just come find me when we get the reports in. And I remember being in the theater going, oh man, I could listen to him tell stories all night long. Like I want a Hal Holbrook, Val Kilmer, like Mark Twain one-man show of Daniel Day-Lewis just doing Lincoln all night long.
Oh my God.
I would easily watch 2 hours of that. Easily. And the movie as a whole, I love that they just took a snippet of time.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that you could ever do justice to a life that large.
Yeah.
So just do a sliver of this year, this 18 months-ish, and focusing on this one issue as opposed to the myriad of issues that he's getting hit with at all times.
Right.
So anyway, I love Lincoln.
I love Lamp.
I love Lamp, and I love Lincoln.
I will say this. I do like the Lincoln movie. I got no issues with that. I like his performance, but I don't think it's the best Spielberg has done. I don't like that ending. I think he belabors the point. I don't buy Joseph Gordon-Levitt in that movie, and he's a good actor. I just have no interest in him in that movie.
I'll give you that. The Gordon-Levitt and Sally Fields.
Oh God, Sally Field.
she's
is
so over
just,
the top.
yeah, it's just a little too much for me, to be honest with you. It doesn't work for me, you know. So, but Daniel Day-Lewis's performance is undeniable, absolutely unfucking deniable. And he's so good at, I mean, that opening scene when he's having the conversation with the two black soldiers and the other soldiers about what it's just incredible. And that's, I think that's
one
David Oyelowo, the guy who
it is.
played Martin Luther King.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was in Gringo or Get the Gringo or whatever.
Yeah, Get the Gringo. Yeah.
And yes, it is in a small part. He's the one that recites back the Gettysburg Address to him.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the other two soldiers, the two white soldiers that are initially talking to him, one of them is the dude that was in Chronicle.
Oh yeah, Dane DeHaan.
Yeah.
I remember that. Dane DeHaan. That's right. No, right. Whew. Yeah. So, but yeah, great performance. Just the film overall doesn't have the effect that I want it to have. Plus, you know, Lee Pace seems completely miscast in the role that he's playing. And
you mean fantastic in the role he's playing? I think I love all the senators and congressmen choices, the congressional choices. Yeah, I think
it's James Spader doing in a film about Lincoln. It just, I don't.
So good.
I don't.
As the guy, the fixer guy, him and Tim Blake Nelson. I love it.
I don't know.
He brings a nice little bit of humor in the midst of this very serious subject.
Ridiculous, man. All right, but I know I get it. Yeah,
fantastic. All right, once again. So if this was about Stalin or something, you'd as he took over power from the Trotskys.
The Trotskys tonight on the Trotskys.
What do you got it for then?
Stalin again. My number 4 is a bit of a cheat, my man, because I saw it. West Side Story. Yeah, it's in the top 5. It's that fucking good.
Yeah, it's so good that I actually made it a 1A, and I'm just saying.
Is a punt for you? Is that what you're saying?
I didn't want to put it on my list because the general public hasn't seen it yet.
That's true. That's fair.
And I wanted to be fair to the people.
Well, I put it on my list, so we'll leave it at that. I already said what I had to say about it. What's your 4?
My number 4 is Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, so the punt. All right, let's go. Go ahead, man.
I mean, top 5 worthy film. What did you have it at? 12?
It's 7, I think.
13?
6. 7. How dare you?
I don't.
How dare you?
It just doesn't make sense. It's such a quality film from point A to point B.
Okay.
So good. But the means, what it means to sacrifice from all kinds of different vantage points.
Yeah.
What the point of all this is, why we fight.
Yeah.
From numerous perspectives. And some of it is just the meat and potatoes of I fight because I have to, and others of idealistic. Or I fight for the man next to me in the foxhole, whatever the case is. And the journey of these individuals as they coalesce into a band of brothers and they go into this FUBAR situation.
Mm-hmm.
We are Upham in this instance.
Yeah.
Slowly being integrated into the world, not understanding. And then by the end, wanting to plunge the knife into that Nazi's heart that you wanted to be human and let him go. We don't need to kill him.
You did.
Yeah. Betty Boop. Fuck Hitler. Can you imagine that someone telling you to dig your own grave?
It was done all the time. I mean, they have that sequence in The Irishman where they de-aged De Niro. He still looks like he's a 50-year-old guy serving in the military who makes the Germans dig their own graves and then shoots them. And apparently that was a thing. They thought, well, if I dig my grave well enough, they won't kill me, which is weird. Just weird. Like, fuck you, kill me. You dig the grave. You're going to kill me anyway. Fuck off. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I don't.
But, all right, here's what I say about Private Ryan. As I've said a million times, once you get past that opening thing, it just kind of the law of diminishing returns. Mm-hmm. No, it doesn't. It gets kind of maudlin and like
amazing.
What's Edward Burns bitching about now? And then it becomes there are great moments. I mean, the Ribisi moment is incredible. Tom Hanks cough crying, the conversation with when just before the final battle, when they're all just kind of listening to Edith Piaf and having their conversations about stuff from home and this, and then when Tom talks about being an English teacher, great moments.
When Matt Damon brings it up, and you can see the look on Tom's face of, this is why I didn't fucking tell people that I was a teacher.
Yeah.
It's a nice little nod within the script of, it's just good storytelling, it's good writing, and it's good everything, man, across the board.
Yeah. I just wish it was filled with just a little bit more of.
I don't know if you can pack more magic when it's just pure magic. See, you know, the adage of I'm going to give 110%, ultimately you can only do 100.
I think it's so funny to me that you think it's so magical, yet it's not even your number one.
It's because
incredible to me.
Look, magic comes in many forms.
Oh, that's for sure.
So I like these other magical spells work a little bit better on me. That's all I'm saying.
That's fair. But yeah, I mean, great performances throughout. I mean, I think this is one of Vin Diesel's best performances as an actor. Really enjoy Barry Pepper. What a great, like, kind of announcement to your career to play a role like that in Private Ryan. Ribisi's so good. Burns irritates the piss out of me. Adam Goldberg is fine. I like Adam Goldberg. Sizemore, before all his career went off the rails, having some nice moments with Hank, some quiet moments that are really believable as well. But like when they get to Damon, that's where the film kind of falls apart for me. I don't feel it. I end up agreeing with Edward Burns. There was no reason for them to lose so many people to try to save one dude just to help the army save face was ridiculous. So, it just doesn't work for me.
Can't you understand all perspectives in this? I can understand.
Oh, I can understand
being
it.
Upset.
Doesn't mean I like it, you know?
Yeah. But it's just like when Hanks is talking to Ted Danson, and Ted Danson's like, I get it. And Hanks is like, you do?
Yeah.
Because this doesn't make any sense to me, but just to look at it from the perspective of like the higher ups and whatnot, this would be a massive black eye if every one of their, she would, a family was called to war and all served. And if none of them come home, when you could go out of your way and try and bring at least one back, I realize, but at the same time, why is that life more important than these other individuals?
That's what it comes down to. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not.
It's just about saving face. And if it's just about saving face, fuck you. Like it's every life is the same, is equal in terms of battle. And so to be sacrificing other people's other people's sons in order to save one son so the army can have some tacit 24 hours of saving face is ridiculous. So, but I can appreciate it. I can understand the mentality, having served in the military and seen some pretty weird decisions being handed down and people being sacrificed for those weird decisions. I get it. But at the same time, I think it kind of keeps me from liking the movie. And especially when we get to Damon, it just seems like, what? I don't want to be saved, and starts the crying thing. And then when all the bombs are going off, he's all huddled in his knees crying. I'm like, yeah, there's nothing heroic here that's happening. So I don't know. For me, it just kind of just doesn't do it for me. So, but I get it. It's a magic movie for you. Apparently super magic. So
yeah, it's it's not quite a Patronus spell, but it's pretty close.
If only it was set in Stalingrad, then maybe I would love it more.
Perhaps. I'm not entirely sure.
All right, so then my number 3 is Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That's my deuce.
Okay. Yeah. Such a good film. Really enjoy the film. Still holds up. Still fun to go back and break down and analyze. Still so much joy. And maybe when Harrison Ford was still making movies and was enjoying himself. Do I have a couple of reservations about the film overall as I look at it now in 2020 or 2021? Yes, but overall, you can't deny the rip-roaring good time that film is. Matt, what do you?
In regards to what?
Well, just the idea of you present Marion Ravenwood as this badass right off the bat who can drink anybody on the table, and then the rest of the time you essentially turn her into a damsel in distress, and that just kind of frustrates me. And I think nowadays you wouldn't do that. Nowadays you'd have her be just as integral into the getting out of the situation than she was back then. I think you do more with her now than you did back then. And that's just the way it was back then sometimes. So, but it doesn't excuse it in my mind. But but overall, it's still such a damn good movie. You can't deny the quality, man.
Yeah, I just perhaps the thinking was, well, it's an Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah, right.
So he is the, action star of this. So the
Yeah.
action star does the action star things. We just want to show that she's not some flower that can't fend for herself.
Right.
Right.
That's
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, because if they present her such a badass way, why don't they keep that going through the movie? They even put a white dress on her to kind of like feminize her, and I'm like, stop it.
That's that badass French jerk. That that's not. It's not Spielberg or anybody else. It's the fucking French.
What's his name?
That I don't know.
Bullock. Yeah, right.
That sounds about right.
Do you not have a Schmoedown match coming?
Are you allowed to say that? Does it go out live or something?
No. Well, it goes out live, but this is coming up on Tuesday.
Yeah, this comes out after, but
as we're recording, I guess I'm saying.
The release schedule of that, I don't know. So
it's going live, so
great match, by the way. You were pretty amazing.
Yeah, I hope so.
And I showed up.
You did? Yes.
I mean,
what a surprise.
I'm not late.
No, I got a feeling the show is going to go late, but you'll be on time. Yeah, Belloc is the guy's name. Yeah. What's up?
Did you appreciate that I forced your match to end up going last because I was running so late? You know
I was shocked by that. I was shocked that Christian agreed to do it.
I figured we should close on the GOATs.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you made yourself the center of the match. You came out and you led everybody.
Oh, how dare you? I did not.
With a Matnos Boumaye, which you weren't even playing, but it was shocking to see that situation. But to be fair, the fans loved it when you showed up. The fans went crazy for you. You still have a lot of love.
The yellow Speedo helped, personally. I'm just saying.
Oh, if you would wear a yellow Speedo with the top 10 logo on the back of your ass, that would just be brilliant.
Oh, my ass, dude, right across my crank. I want you looking where,
the 0 right square, right in the middle there.
Or maybe I put a 1 on the front and a 0 on the back, and I just keep going. I flip it around, show them the front. Just 1. It's like we say top when I'm showing the front, and then 10 when I show the ass. We just get a top 10 chant going. Look, if we can get this made up by Saturday, I'm in.
It's good to go. It'll be good to go. Oh, anyway. All right. Where are we at right now? Where are we at? Oh, you're 3, right?
Raiders, 3-2.
Yeah. Anything more to say on Raiders?
The treasure hunt aspect, I'm always a sucker for that within movies.
Yeah.
And then you throw in this isn't just a treasure hunt. This is New Testament, or Old Testament rather.
Right.
Like power and glory and all that jazz. And then you throw in the ultimate evil of the Nazis. And it's just this perfect stew.
Yeah.
It still holds up.
Stew.
All right. So that's your 3, my 2.
Right. What's your 3?
My 3 is Jaws.
That's a punt.
Okay.
Yeah.
I came down to rewatchability. That's where I ultimately landed.
Okay. Schindler's List 2 for me.
All right.
What, 9, 12, 13? How much do you hate Jewish people? Like, where'd you put it?
Oh, we're going to take this anti-Semitic, are we?
Oh, I mean, you called me a communist. I feel like everything's in play now.
I think those two are completely separate things.
I mean,
to be perfectly honest, one is an ideology. Another is a systemic hatred for apparently your genetic makeup, or
all right.
I think one's a little worse. Just it's my number 7. It's the pure rewatchability. That's it. It's a beautiful movie.
Yeah, I get it, but then again, I had to move it that high because it's like it's the greatest film possibly that he's ever directed in terms of putting his soul into the film, putting away his toolbox or his what do you call that stuff? His tells, putting away his tells as a filmmaker. And he made something completely almost devoid of humor, although there's some dark humor moments for sure, and brought you very chilling, honest, uncomfortable moments that you did not expect from someone like Spielberg, even though he had done some stuff in the past that was a little darker, just seeing him fully dial into what that experience was like for Jewish people in the Holocaust, and a just unsettling, bone-chilling, evil man in Ray Fiennes' character, which I think is Oscar Schmidt. Is that right? Schmidt, something like that. Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, the look of disgust on the partygoers' faces when he kisses the cheek of that girl that made the cake or brings the cake in or whatnot, and them just like how she's not like us. Like, you are now sullied.
Yeah.
Because you have touched this Jewish, girl.
Yeah.
And it's sad to know that existed, was very prevalent. So much so that it became the ideology of a country. And that if we don't recognize it and discuss it, it could very easily happen again. Because, people are more than happy to be terrible to one another, just given the opportunity.
Yeah.
It's a harrowing movie.
Yeah. Agreed. And seeing the terrible ways they do that is just unsettling, throughout the whole film. And even, that one woman who is like thinking she's doing the right thing by like telling them they're constructing the buildings wrong. And she thinks, I'm going to help the Nazis and help because I'm going to be a good.
Yeah. How dare you?
Yeah. And the fact that she was questioning them and then they kill her. Or questioning or shooting the old man in the back of the head because he can't lift or shovel the snow anymore. Like, so many just powerful ones that I never expected Spielberg to show,
Well, they kill her and then don't they go about making the changes that she was just suggesting?
Right. Exactly. They do go about making the changes, but because it's a Jewish person showing them up, they had to
kill her. How dare you? And you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Your supposed pride and superiority is flabbergasting.
Right.
Like it's what is that Kenneth Branagh movie, The Final Solution, the HBO movie with Stanley Tucci, and just to watch them sit down and discuss systematically how exactly would be the most efficient way to kill millions of people, and also which department is responsible for this. And all these bureaucrats sitting down and be like, well, we shouldn't do it. This should be a job for the SS, or this should be a job for. It's just gross.
Yeah. Agreed.
And then seeing Liam Neeson break down at the end, like, this gold pen. This gold pen could have saved, and this list is life type of thing.
Yeah.
It's
Didn't he lose? He lost to Philadelphia. He lost to Tom Hanks, which is ridiculous.
Did he really?
I think it was Philadelphia, man.
That's the same time frame, so that would be. That sounds about right, because it wasn't Forrest Gump.
Oh, it wasn't Forrest Gump.
Yeah,
Oscar nominations. Yeah, Best Actor 1993 for Schindler's List. Who else was best in 1993? God, there's so many people nominated.
What do you got?
Daniel Day-Lewis, Tom Hanks, Lawrence Fishburne, Anthony Hopkins. So Hopkins for Remains of the Day, Fishburne for What's Love Got to Do with It, Daniel Day-Lewis for In the Name of the Father, and Tom Hanks wins for Philadelphia. I think that's so, and I guarantee you it was probably a bunch of Hollywood types who were like all about, having a gay main character dealing with AIDS, which I think is incredible in 1993, of course. But I mean, I would take about 3 of these people and put them above Tom Hanks's performance in Philadelphia, including Liam Neeson and Hopkins and Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, that the Mom and Pop podcast that we plugged earlier, Bill Simmons, has, I think, a good idea of maybe the Oscars you should wait like 10 years.
Oh, and then give the awards?
And then give the awards.
Ooh.
Which, from the industry perspective, doesn't make sense because they want to create heat to get these things back in the box office to get people to go see the movies themselves.
No agent or studio would ever agree to that.
Yeah, exactly. But I do think that makes a world of sense because some things are just in the moment. Momentum for Green Book takes over. And ultimately it's like, that's not a Oscar-winning film.
Ridiculous, that film. Yeah.
The fact that it's, I knew it was going to win too. When you looked at the other things it was up against, you're like, this is the safest bet.
Yeah. Right. Good point.
And
Absolutely.
then the Oscar voting pool is still mostly old people at this point.
Yeah.
So, well,
Agreed.
you know, the driving Miss Daisy of the 21st century.
Yeah, basically that. Basically that. Yeah.
Slight role reversal, but basically the same thing.
Yeah. So what's your two? We already did your two, which was Raiders, right?
Yeah.
So what's your one? Oh,
Well,
my
we
one.
have to do your one first.
My one is Jaws.
That was my 3.
Okay. Yeah, that's the pun from earlier. So yeah, this one still rewatched it again a couple of weeks ago from back to front. Still works so well. I feel I'm watching the most fun Spielberg has in making a movie, even though there were all those issues on the set with the shark and whatever. There's a joy in this movie, even though it's a horror film, even though there's Jaws and all of that. But like, there are just moments here where he is really kind of showing you what he can do as a director, what performances he can get out of these actors, and then how to build the tension and show some pretty brutal moments, including when the girl gets eaten at the beginning and Quint and even the boy seeing the blood splattering out of the water as these people are screaming and running out of the water. Just incredible how he's able to kind of balance that and never lose the stakes. Even when there's humor moments, they never seem to lose the stakes of what's happening. And the music from John Williams is so great. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as we stated in the past, we have summer tent poles because of this movie.
Yes, true.
And I understand why they tried to spawn sequels. It doesn't really make sense given the context of the film itself, but it made enough money where, of course, the studio was going to try and, squeeze blood from this.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, amazingly, or not, I guess not amazingly, it's just as good as the first time I watched it.
Yeah.
Which says the world of the movie and his ability, of the confidence of such a young director.
Yeah.
And to know the pacing and to pull this off and the troubles they had with Bruce, but to stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
The casting choices were perfect. It's weird because a lot of times in even excellent movies, like we're talking about with Lincoln, the Sally Fields and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, they don't appreciate the film for me, but perhaps there could have been better choices or better direction of, hey, maybe Sally, dial it down a little. Although everything that you heard about her character, she apparently was kind of prone to these emotional outbursts and whatnot. So how do you relay that? So it's kind of a tough, push and pull. Whereas in Jaws, I don't think you change a single thing. I think it's beautifully cast from top to bottom.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, this is his first truly big film.
Yeah. Very true.
And, for your first one to be a grand slam.
Yeah. Pretty incredible.
It's pretty amazing.
All right. So what's your number one?
My one is Last Crusade. It's my favorite Spielberg.
Okay. Go ahead, man. Please.
It's awesome. Would you have it like 6 or something ridiculous?
It's 14 or something like that, I think it was.
Yeah, I genuinely think you put your list together and you're like, I know he's going to have it high on his. So I am going to twist the knife a little and make sure it's out of my top 5.
That's not true. That's not true at all. I would never do that. That's ridiculous. That's something you would do.
Look at his face right now. Those watching. No. Does that look like a face that's being genuine right now? That is being forthright? Fully 100% communicative with me and his audience? I believe he might have gamed his list ever so slightly.
Oh, please. I would never do that.
To ensure that his choices end up near the top, and that's fine. That's fine. I go by my heart. You know what I mean?
Oh, no. Yeah, I know you do.
Basically, I'm a good person.
Yeah, no, true. He'll be the first one to tell you.
Yeah. I'm a humble guy. I love Last Crusade. It's my favorite of it. I think bringing in Sean Connery and the dynamic is just a perfect little tit for tat with Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're only like 5 years difference in age, 6 years difference in age, even though he's playing his dad, is pretty fantastic. But I mean, I think you have to look at more so in the scope of he'd been around in cinema for an additional 20 some odd years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where the age difference. Harrison didn't break until he was a shade bit older.
Yeah. Just a little bit older. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In his 30s as opposed to his 20s, like Connery.
Yeah.
So at that point, when he's in his 50s and Harrison's in his 40s,
Yeah.
we'd known Connery for 30 some odd years at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was kind of a return to form too, because we were going through a little bit of a second renaissance of Connery, right? With Hunt for Red October and I think The Rock was like a couple of years later, but we had these films with him kind of slowly being back into our mainstream. And so have him take this role and bring such like a gruff honesty to it, and then have that moment we've talked about numerous times on the show, the sincerity when he says his full name.
Yeah.
It's such a perfect decision to cast him. It works so well.
And I think one of my favorite parts is now through all the years and seeing the interviews, how much of a curmudgeon both Sean Connery and Harrison Ford are.
That's true.
But when they talk about this film, they have nothing but love and respect for each other and how much fun they had together. I just like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Two fucking house cats found each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, a sucker for Last Crusade. I think when we did this one last, I put Jaws at number 1 because to give respect to it's a blueprint for modern movie making.
Right. Absolutely. Right.
But on rewatchability, it's like Crusade's my number 1.
Okay. All right. I still put Jaws at number 1 for rewatchability for myself personally, but I get what you're trying to say. All right. So there's our separate lists for this top 10 Spielberg 2021 list that we're doing.
Yep.
We haven't done it in such a long time. So we're going to put this together now and count out our official list. Grabbing the bongos as we speak.
Grab those bongos. So
yeah.
I think it goes Jaws, then Raiders.
Okay.
Because that's 1, 3, and 2, 3.
Okay.
And then after that, we have Schindler's at 2, 7. Crusade at 1, 6 beats that.
Yeah, true. Crusade does. Okay. You can move it up. And then what?
I would guess
Jaws after that.
So Jaws is number 1.
Oh, sorry about that. Schindler's List, right? Schindler's List. Okay.
Yeah. And then Saving Private Ryan, we have it at 4, what?
7.
I don't think we have anything else that beats 4, 7.
Okay.
I think it goes Saving Private Ryan, then Jurassic Park, Catch Me If You Can, Minority Report.
All right. And that's the 10?
No.
Okay.
So we have 2 spots left.
All right.
9 and 10.
Okay.
I have my number 5. You have your number 5, don't you?
I have my number 4.
What's your 4?
West Side Story.
Oh, okay.
So we can take. I defer to your 5 if you want to put your 5 on there.
All right, Lincoln, it is. Boom.
Oh, son of a really?
Yep.
All
it's already even stated. That's a verbal contract as far as I'm concerned.
That's true. It is. Son of a bitch. All right, let's get into it. The top 10 Spielberg's. The top 10 Steven Spielberg movies in 2021. At number 10.
Lincoln.
At number 9.
West Side Story.
At number 8.
Minority Report.
At number 7.
Catch Me If You Can.
At number 6.
Jurassic Park.
At number 5.
Saving Private Ryan.
At number 4.
Schindler's List.
At number 3.
Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade.
At number 2.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
And our number 1 Steven Spielberg film in 2021 is
Jaws, baby. Jaws.
Need a bigger list. Good stuff there. Good stuff, Matt Nost. Nice to revisit Steven Spielberg and his great works as we appreciate him yet again. And I hope you all get a chance to go see West Side Story. You will enjoy that movie. I can't guarantee it because everyone's different, but it's pretty much a shoo-in my mind for Best Picture nomination and Best Director nomination. Maybe even Rachel Zegler as Best Actress. We shall see. And Ariana DeBose as Best Supporting Actress.
As of right now, I think picture and director are shoo-ins.
Yeah, right.
I haven't really seen anything else that's going to knock that kind of certainty out.
Yeah, great point. Yes.
Or at least, well, for Best Picture, 10 others.
Yeah, I think it'll get in there, of course. If there's 10 slots, there's no way it doesn't get in there, for God's sakes. So, but we got shout outs to do here, Matt Nost.
We do. We were, a week late on that, and we apologize
Yes.
for it. It
Sorry about
got a
that.
little bit late in the day last time, but here we go. Here are the shout outs. We hope you enjoyed. Stay safe out there, everybody. And thank you so much that for those that support us over at patreon.com/the top 10 with the number 10. If you donated $5 and above, we give you a shout out each month.
Mm-hmm.
So this is our way of saying thank you. And you want to start?
Sure. Tarl Patton. I hope that's right.
Jason McDonald.
Roby, RKS.
Pele Cole.
Eric Taylor.
Deepak Maurer.
David Stephen.
Andrew Robinson.
Francisco Ramirez.
Michael Bauer.
Colton Thompson.
Heinrich Winterland.
Phil Knuckles.
Ryan Latonen.
Ray Rosh.
Callie Onken.
Justin Kelly.
Lachlan Skinner.
Joseph Curran.
Fred Castillo.
Edward Wilshire.
J. Scotty St. Clair.
Charles J. Clark.
Zachariah Kaufman.
Jeff Dickin.
Francisco J. Torres.
Connor Teal.
Michael D. Dyke.
Robert Francesco Sudace.
Tim Reimert.
Dominic Greaves.
Eric Bruin.
Matt Simmons.
Kyle Beckworth.
Jeremy Bowers.
James Petty.
Nick Francis.
Billy Williams.
Christopher Brockman.
Blake Gaunt.
Cameron Chapman.
Alex Russell.
Bobby Michael.
Paul Cree.
So Paul. Stacy Flores.
Luke Allison.
Mark Fawcett.
Kristen Kurtz.
Gareth Weldon.
Timothy R. Williams.
Nick Baldwin.
Johanna Lenaverta.
JIC 317.
DJ Red Hot Cox.
Ahmad Ali.
Darren Bush.
Angela Dashner.
Louis Berrigan.
Josh Lawrence.
Chelsea Lewis.
Adelardo Fuente.
Reagan Lovig.
Rodrigo Valverde III.
Lawrence Witz.
Andre Constantinescu.
Steve Schluckemeyer.
Catherine Samuels.
Houston Bodley.
Roque Orellana.
Maurice Robinson.
Marcus Davenport.
Brandon Caridi.
Ravi Prasad.
Joe Farrelly.
Charlie McKenna.
Josh Mabry.
Sup, Josh? Ben Cartwright.
Josh Murphy.
Josh Sachs.
George Menchaca.
Dale Varley.
Chris Consiglio.
Wayne Murphy.
Ashley Prowse.
Johannes Schmidt.
Sunjayanth Fernando.
Evan Zoller.
Kevin Fuss.
Jen Kemp.
Ryan McKenna.
Brian Akins.
Alexander Morzonia.
Garth Wizenant.
Mike Barrington.
Ed Buskirk.
Jeff Saliba.
Noel Kelleher.
Jim Payne.
David Mitchell Baker.
Andy Ortiz.
John Keefe.
Kristen Smith.
Hey, Kristen. Matthew Lee Cravens.
Marcel Behrman.
James Trapani.
Drew Inns.
The beautiful Dan Nye.
Seth Shearer.
Andrew Marker.
Chris Jones.
Luke Larson.
Chris Cabrera.
Robert Haley.
And finally, Anthony Casanova.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
All right. Well, thank you to everybody that supports us. We thoroughly appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed
Yeah.
your shout out. Apologize for being a week late on that. And we hope you enjoyed today's show. You can follow the show on Twitter at Top 10 Show, all spelled out. Otherwise, on Instagram and YouTube, it is /the Top 10 Podcast.
There you go. And where can they
with the
follow
number
you,
10.
Matt, and everything I got going on?
Hit me up at Matt Nost, and you can head over to youtube.com /Matt Nost if you want to check out Settle the Score. Otherwise, if you want some basketball content, it is Dropping Dimes. You can search for either of those shows anywhere you get podcasts. You'll find it.
There you go. And you can follow me at The Roca Says on Twitter and on Instagram. Head on over to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/John Roca Says. See all the stuff I'm doing there as well. Also, my other podcasts, the Cinephiles and the Geek Buddies, they're out there if you do enjoy it. If you're on Twitch, the Outlaw Nation, all one word on Twitch as well. And once more, every week I encourage you all to please, if you have, if you want to support the show a little bit more, you got a little extra $5, $10 rolling around. Support the show. Things were kind of heading back to normal. Possibility of going out there to do some shows. That's always in play. And if you could share everything we do here on your social media so people can maybe come on to the Top 10 Show catch up on past episodes and really enjoy what we're bringing to them and the multiple shows we bring them every week. Maybe that's a possibility you can do in your life as well. Maybe a Christmas gift you give to Matt and I to share it and try to get as many people involved in the top 10 as well. So there you go. Just giving a pitch there, Matt, to kind of get some more people supporting everything we got going on here. Absolutely. All right. Well, we got to get going. You all take care of yourselves. Be well, and we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of the Top 10 Show. Peace.